Hello, we're back. Hopefully, with less technical difficulties.
And personal difficulties. This morning might have been just a little bit of a hot mess, but we made it through.
That's what makes it fun, right?
Absolutely. Keeps everybody guessing. They never know what we're going to do next.
Right. We definitely have this a lot closer than it normally is.
Is that it?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yep. So it's not your imagination.
I definitely feel a little more crowded than normal.
Yep.
Yes.
So we can slide it back if you want. And then I can just readjust the camera, or we can just deal with it.
This camera?
Nope, that one.
That one. No, let's just go with it.
Okay.
We'll make it work.
All right, so this is not the last time we're going to talk about embroidery, but this is definitely the last week of National Embroidery Month, which is kind of fun because it gave us an opportunity to talk about all kinds of different things, and it gives people a nice little reference to sort of build up on. So it was fun for us to be talking about. So today we wanted to talk about some of the advanced features. So these are features that you're going to find on our higher end model machines. Yep. So 9x14, 10x16 type embroidery machines. So we happen to be sitting in front of the Luminaire now. Last week we sat in front of the Solaris, and we have always been big proponents about telling people that both Brother and Baby Lock are equally awesome
Wonderful
machines. And until very recently, there really wasn't a
much
big
difference one from the other.
Right, there wasn't a big thing that was different, but there is a big thing that's different, and
there is one huge difference between them at this point.
Show some of those. So if you are a Solaris owner, some of the things that we're going to show you today, you will not have access to. If you are a Luminaire customer and haven't purchased a scan and cut that merges, sort of connects your machine to your scan and cut, then you might want one of those, even if you never use your scan and cut.
Even if you never use the scan and cut,
for
you
anything
can
else.
sell it. Buy it, get the little card out of it, and then sell it. And
yeah. You get a fun new feature to the machine
that we're going to show you
that
how that works.
Yes,
absolutely.
Plus, we're going to talk about some things that are on both of the different machines.
Oh, most definitely. We're going to talk about lots of things. That's just one thing that is phenomenal, and unfortunately
will be just a little bit different between our Solaris
that does
and
show a
Luminaire
difference between
people.
the two. Outside of that, mechanically, stitch wise, stitch quality, options available, all of those other things are going to be equal.
Yes,
that is the only variant.
Yes,
okay,
we love both of them equally as much.
Yes. We'll pet them and love them.
Yes.
And make sure that they know that they're loved.
We'll wake this up. So if you guys have any questions about some of the stuff that we've talked about leading up to this, or if you have questions while we're showing some of this, don't be afraid to type it in, because we're happy to answer those questions and talk about those things.
We'd love to answer your questions.
That's right. And it makes this a little bit more interesting for us too, because sometimes you have questions that we don't think about to talk about. So my dream is to upgrade to Luminaire from the Stellaire. Hopefully it will be soon. Well,
we can help you with that.
Yes.
Absolutely.
It is a lot of fun to be able to do some of these different techniques. And I am not afraid to say that I'm definitely spoiled when it comes to machines, right? I love the high-end features, and I've always had super expensive taste. I didn't always have a budget available for my taste.
Fair. Same. I don't know how many people aren't. I mean, I think we all love the awesome, and sometimes we can get there, and sometimes we work up to it, and sometimes it's just not in the cards for us. And we respect all of those things.
Exactly. So we totally understand if you're there, because we have all been there in different times in our lives. And so we also readily realize that some of the things that we're going to be talking about are maybe outside of your reach. Maybe not forever, but they might be outside today. So we don't mean to be, we're not trying to be not inclusive to everyone.
Nope.
It's always nice to be able to daydream if you don't have them.
It is. And it's also nice to know what is next. So if you've been thinking about, like Marina said, if you've been thinking, I do want to upgrade, but maybe you don't know upgrade to what? Why would I want to do that? So
Exactly.
we're gonna show you some of the wow features that are here.
Yeah.
And what that can do.
Yes. Or maybe you're contemplating between different brands, or you already have one brand and you're wondering if you need to be brand inclusive.
There you go. The other thing to throw out there, which I did not mean to do that. Oops. I hit the
button,
the thing underneath here. It did not like that
it
at
does
all.
not like it when
Let's
you do
turn
that.
that off and turn
Yep.
it back on.
Lisa's getting a little handsy over
I'm
here.
getting very handsy. My bad. So sorry. So this morning's stitch out that we did. So we talked about buttons and what those buttons did and resizing and all of those things, but we didn't really talk about techniques
Right.
of embroidery and those things. This morning's stitch out happened to fall very well in line with our monthly topic here.
Yes.
So if you are, curious about how different types of things, techniques come together, watch our DDE video from this morning. It made the sampler, and we'll have one of them grab that. So we'll pop that up, and you can see how to do the different types. So what we've been really talking about is what machine is right for you to do what you want to do. Well, that might be what you want to do, but we didn't talk about stitch outs per se as much as how the machines can make it be what you want it to be.
So we can neither confirm or deny that, but
there's definitely rumors out there.
Yep.
It certainly is a possibility. Anything's possible.
Yes.
But we can't say one way or the other as to whether that's going to, we don't have information to confirm or deny specifics.
Right.
So,
but we have heard all of the same rumors that you have, and no one really, we're not in the loop.
No. Yeah. I mean, you would think that we would know what's going to happen in, 6 months in our business, but unfortunately,
no,
we're told like, right before it happens.
Yes.
And that's about it. So it certainly is a possibility. There's been 3 upgrades to this line.
Yes.
So it certainly is a very real possibility.
We suspect,
honestly,
but we cannot, we have no.
I mean, if I had to lay a bet,
yes,
my answer would be yes.
Yes, but we don't know.
I have no confirming
Confirmed,
information to be able to say, yes, that's going to happen for sure.
But hypothetically, if it is, then those of you who might have been dreaming about a luminaire may be able to get a luminaire at a better price, because
That could
whenever
happen.
we have a new model machine, we typically get people who trade from this model to the next model because they like to see that. So,
right. So we might
it can
see
be
some
very
previously
exciting.
loved
Yes.
luminaires and Solarises come in to purchase whatever that might be.
Yes.
If that comes to pass.
Exactly. So
certainly is
keep
a
your
feasible
fingers crossed if
Right.
that is, if that's on your
and
your
keep
list.
your fingers crossed that if that happens, we have some phenomenal new. I mean,
Yes.
it blows me away the things that they have figured out how to make these machines do.
I know.
But I can never come up with what they're going to do next.
I know.
I never can figure those things out.
No.
Nope. What do you got?
It's always great to see and justify your need to grow and expand your skill set. Yes, it is.
Absolutely. Yes. Thank you for that, because it's very, very true.
It is. It is. It is. And hi, Misty. So hi, everybody.
Hello to everyone.
So should we just move to the
I think
screen?
we should just hop in, because
Okay.
there are so many things. If we can fit it all in an hour, we'll be doing really good.
And we haven't really talked about exactly what we're going to talk about, so we're just gonna kind of wing it here. Oh, it's on demo mode again on the camera.
Oh, that's fun. Is that this one?
It's this one. Yep. Can
Okay.
you turn that off?
I
All right.
will attempt to figure that out.
Flip back over to here. So while Lisa fixes the I don't know why it cannot stay. Well, they offer an upgrade to previous luminaires if they do. So keep in mind that Brother doesn't do anything, right? So we're independent retailers. We buy our stuff from Brother, but they give suggested, now everybody gives you a suggested price, right? Everything comes with a minimum advertised price these days. So they kind of dictate us on price to a certain degree, what we can advertise, what we can say. But each individual shop. So if you were a customer here and you purchased a machine here, or you were planning on purchasing a machine here, we do take machines as trades, which means you can definitely upgrade to the next model. We're gonna, and then what we do is we take the machine that you traded in, and we service it and spit shine it.
and add anything that you might have lost over the years,
Yes,
and all of
yes.
those things,
And then
we offer it.
we flip it.
We flip. Yes, we're like flipping houses around here,
Yeah,
but
we're machine flippers.
machine flippers. So yes, so it's certainly, yep.
Yeah, absolutely. So we had a lot of dreams come in, and a lot of destinies came in when the Luminaire and the Solaris came out. And as soon as we know if we actually have hard rock proof, we'll start sending out emails and letting people know. And if you are seriously interested in something like that, by all means, drop us an email and say, hey, I want to be on the waiting list, or I want you to notify me first, or we don't know for sure, but there is, if we mathed it out soon, if not this year, probably next year, soon.
Yeah, like there's been, I think with the Quattro, they did a 4th upgrade before they brought out something new. But it's most likely this year. But
she's asking about a software update to upgrade.
So updates, I would imagine there'll still be
maybe for a little while.
Maybe, something else out there. I don't know that they would upgrade per se.
Yeah.
It's very rare for them to do that. It happens, but it's rare once they've come out with a new top of the line.
Exactly. If they're just upgrading, like we've had Luminaire 1, 2, 3. So if they went to Luminaire 4, yes, there would likely be an upgrade. But if they change the name and they make it a completely new style model, then no, there won't be.
There's not generally an upgrade, a purchasable hardware, software package.
Yes.
To add to the things that this machine does.
Right. And in fairness to the company, right? If you're not constantly coming out with something new at the top of the line,
you become stale, and
you're not innovating, and you're not doing it. Just like computers and cars and everything, there's
stay at the top of the market. Right.
Yeah, you just have to. At
Head
some
of the
point,
game.
Yeah, you can't put the technology that you want to put in a new machine. You can't make it backwards compatible. So it just becomes more money to try to do that. So it's just not practical.
I mean, for the things we'll get to, in the quilting things, I would love to see a couple more built-in things. And that might happen.
Yes.
Even if there's no upgrade. They have done things like that in updates occasionally that will do that.
Yep.
Anything is possible, but the purchasable ones, not usually once they've come out with an actual new model.
Yep.
They don't generally do those.
Right.
So.
I would love to see the quilting feature that's built into the machine have the same feature that we have with the IQ design and being able to add those. I would love it for us to be able to
import something in
those designs, even if it's something that we have to create in our software. I would love for there to be more edge-to-edge quilting designs in this machine with the ability to use ours.
That was what I was speaking to.
Exactly.
The edge-to-edge and even the borders, which they have added a decent number. You've got a lot of options there now. The 10 edge-to-edge, I would like that to have a little more expansion on.
Or let us put in our own.
Bring them in. Yep.
Like they figured out a way to do for the design fills. It seems like it seems to me, because I don't write software, that this should not be a complicated process.
Right? Why not? Yeah, we should totally be able to do that.
Right. But since neither of us write software, there is no, they don't.
I'm sure there's more to it than what we do.
Right.
So,
all right.
For sure. So let's jump in. So here is the screen to the Luminaire. Nothing much different there. The only difference is the Disney tab. Just like on the Solaris, you can access any of those tabs from the embroidery screen. Nothing different from that perspective either. So let's jump in there. This looks mildly different, but not much.
No, just
it's,
that.
you got Disney and all of the other things are going to be there.
Yep.
That are on a Solaris versus here.
Yep.
So,
what do we want to jump into first?
Well, we're talking about the advanced things. Do we want to talk about the scan and cut thing first?
First,
just get
because
that
that's
out?
different.
That's the one thing that's different. So let's just grab an embroidery design out of number 1. Doesn't really matter what you grab, but something with fill stitches in it. So
I never one of those.
sure, that'll work.
I envision that to be bigger. All right, so let's just, I'm going to make this just a tad
I was
bit
just going to say, why
bigger here. So, all right, so
you're even resize
it.
But yep.
So you can see that there's a bunch of little doodads on here. This looks like one of those like hydrangeas or some sort of flower or something like that. Which, all right, so here we are. We have this. Nothing is different between the Solaris and the Luminaire yet.
No. So we had talked about the applique feature, which is kind of like a patch feature. The wonderful thing about linking, so you having the ability to link to a scan and cut to your embroidery machine, is this. So when you push that applique button, instead of going right into just adding that outline around your design with the 3 different layers, you get 2 options. So the one on the left is your standard default.
I like how it says normal.
This is normal. And this is this is what basically you have on every other machine that has an applique button.
Exactly.
You just don't see this because it automatically goes to that screen because that's the only option. So it just automatically jumps in there. When you link a scan and cut, it changes this page and you now get
2 options.
The secondary option. And this is wicked cool.
It is very cool.
The reason it's so cool is that even doing this, if you are a software like embroidery software junkie and you play in your software a lot, you probably know it's not a simple thing to turn a fill stitch into an applique easily.
Sometimes you've got a super complicated design and you think I should just be able to grab it and say,
switch it.
Yeah, make this a zigzag on the edge. And then you realize that didn't work.
That doesn't work like you thought it was going to, or you click the button you think is going to do it, and you end up in a whole nother realm of issues and things that you have to copy and paste and change and tweak and whatnot. So what this does is it gives us the ability to turn any fill stitch into an applique.
Yes.
How do we do that? It's just pushing a couple of buttons, which is what makes this so wicked cool. So let's just grab some of the same color. It looks like the dark one's in the back, right? So
like deep rose, maybe?
Maybe.
Yeah.
What's the one right below that, out of curiosity?
That one?
Same stuff.
Same stuff. So
doesn't really matter. So let's select all of... that's a lot. Let's give it a go, though. Let's see what happens. So...
we're going to hit next?
We're going to hit next. We've selected literally all of the little circles that are in there. And it's going to say, okay, great. We can totally do that. How do you want this to look? And you have a choice of either a satin stitch or a lighter zigzag stitch. So a little bit more like a raw edge applique on the zigzag, or a satin stitch, which is a true applique finish.
Yep.
All right. And on the bottom, depending upon what one you have selected, you've got settings that you can change that to.
Yes. And the difference for this, and it might feel a little weird for you because this is in inches, and sometimes when we're looking at designs, we might be looking at millimeters. So sometimes I do like to change this to millimeters because for me, I like
to know what
in my mind, I feel like I want it to be 3 or 4 millimeters. But this is the default setting, so I say we just leave it for now and see what happens. And then we're going to hit the preview button.
And it's going to show you what that would look like. So you're going to get grayed out spaces in here. Let's zoom in again. We can't.
I can't.
Screen. My bad.
You can actually see.
You can see pretty good. There's a little checkered things going through each one. And because we selected all of those different pieces, basically what we're going to do is applique these funky edged circles, right? And so we are going to get the placement line, the tack down line, and the satin stitch because that's what we chose. And we're going to get all of those there.
Yes.
So if we like what we see, we can go, okay, great. Yep, I like it. Let's hit next and move on. If we don't like what we see, then you have you can go back and say, okay, that was too many colors. I want some stitches, but I want some fabric. You could go back and you can literally tweak it however you want.
Exactly.
But you can see here, it added applique
stitches. Yep.
Yep. So we have everything we need there to place the fabric and then do the stitches.
Exactly. Which is a really fun way of being able to take a design and turn it into the applique. And then you can see down here, maybe you can't see, but you'll have to just trust me, that it actually turned these features down here into no-sews. Yep. So it actually put a line through them, and they're no longer going to
give me the Santas
stitch.
And 2 snowman stickers from Tony's got them in the back. Thank you.
So that is a really fun way of being able to do that. So it's going to do the applique design first, and then it's going to do the stitching on top of it. So will this happen if you're using a design not in our machine?
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Yeah, we probably can find a design that is not already built.
This one was not in the machine.
Yes.
So here is a Kimberbell stuffy that was from the North Pole Christmas tray back a year and a half ago. And its belt here is fill stitches. All right. And I was like, that is super cute, but I want a big stuffy.
You want to plop that on that camera?
I can do that.
It might be easier for them to see.
So here is this little guy, and you can see his belt. It's stitches. You can see a little bit of red coming through in random spots. It's a pretty good fill stitch, but that's a lot of fill stitches, especially if I made it,
substantially bigger.
2.5 times bigger or whatever it is. So this is the exact same design that I resized with recalculation, of course. And then I put it in the machine. If this was fill stitches, that would have just chewed up my fabric. It would have taken me 12 years to stitch it. And I didn't want that. And not only that, how cool is a sparkle Santa belt, right?
Right.
So I brought in this feature and I changed the fill stitch that was this black to an applique. And because I had a nice edge here, I didn't need a satin stitch. So I just did that open zigzag on the edges there, which keeps everything in place. And boom, I have an applique. Thank you so much. So easily. And it saved a lot of stitch time. So for me, this is where, I can't tell you how many times, and I'm sure you guys have all been there too. You're stitching something, you're like, oh my gosh, that is so many stitches. That alone, that one color is 20 minutes of stitch time.
Exactly.
I don't want to do that.
Will this ever end?
Will it ever end? Exactly. So this is a really, really great option to swap out all of that fill for a quick applique.
Yes.
The zigzag stitch would be less time than the satin stitch, and also less intrusive if you're in the middle of a design. So, you know, you can really change the look of a design if you throw a satin stitch in there.
Exactly.
Where that light zigzag is just going to keep your edges nice and flat, and then you can stitch on top of it or add to whatever.
Exactly.
So
and
it depends on the look that you're going for.
Right.
For sure.
And if you really wanted to just change things up in this, we still have the no-show button down at the bottom. So we could literally pick the other parts of the design and say, I really just want to do the applique shape here.
Yep.
I don't want to do anything else. I just want to applique these shapes.
Or controversially, we could say, I still want to stitch the leaf parts, but I want a little bit of stitch color in there. So you could grab one color and put that back in. So even though you have fabric under it, you could add in little bits of color if you wanted to. So just because you took it out doesn't mean you can't put it back in. So super fun and very simple. It's literally just pushing buttons until you see what you like.
Exactly.
And then once you hit OK.
Yes, once we hit OK.
It would come onto the screen, and then this is what we would actually see stitched out.
Yep.
I don't know that is exactly what I would stitch out, but you guys get the idea, hopefully.
Right.
So.
Okay, I'm going to go out of here. So Cindy says, what do you back your applique material with? I don't back my applique material with anything unless I'm going to see my background fabric through my applique.
Or you're using your scan and cut or something that you might add.
Right.
But in general, with embroidery, you don't need that. I would definitely starch my fabric that I'm going to use. And you can still send it to the scan and cut and then just fit it in place, put a little glue stick or something, little spray adhesive or something like that if you want it. But you really don't have to add. If I'm going to add, I generally use Baby Lax fusible applique is my favorite go-to. Either that or Heat and Bond's what's it called?
The light.
The light.
Yeah, Heat and Bond light.
Heat and Bond light. Yeah. I'm like, I'm missing
really
something.
Original word.
I'm missing something. What did I forget? The light.
We've also had very good luck with the new stuff. It's on that roll right there.
Oh, yes.
What is it called?
I don't know. Give me a minute.
What's it called, Tucker?
Heat.
The red line on it. The other applique stuff. Any idea? Hot fix. Hot fix. Yeah.
It's hot something because I'm hot. No, Hot fix also is really nice, and that is permanent and it works really nice. Doesn't add a lot of weight to.
Whereas Heat and Bond is not necessarily permanent.
Right.
So if you overheat it, it can become sort of, you can
get a little
bubbles in the middle of it where that will stay fused forever. So that's
technically
fun.
The hot fix, you don't even have to sew.
You don't.
It is considered permanent and that you don't have to sew over top of it.
Yes. Kind of like steam a seam is also considered
something
permanent.
like that. Yeah. So there are there's a lot of products out there. We generally prefer the ones that are not heat sensitive so that you don't have, and I overheated it and now it's not sticking to anything.
Right.
Because that's no fun.
Exactly.
At all.
No,
at all.
Not fun. So that part is exclusive to the Brother line. So we have that on the Stellaires.
And I just want to throw in, once you have your scan and cut and your Luminaire linked, or your XJ1 or 2 or XE1 or 2, those will also link.
Yes.
You can send that cut file that you just created to the scan and cut right from your machine. You don't have to go to your computer or anything else or put it on a USB and walk over. You can wirelessly send that design, size, and shape over. It'll cut it and then you can fill in the blank. That connection also lets the two machines actually talk to one another.
Yes.
Which is really cool.
Yes.
So again, that is the one thing that sets apart the two brands at the moment when it comes to these machines.
Yeah.
Because that is not, and Brother has zero intention of giving up that exclusivity to put that on the Baby Lax.
Right.
So that is the one really cool thing that is only available on a Brother.
Yes.
But let's talk about some other fun stuff because there is tons.
Absolutely. Okay. What do you want to do?
I don't know. Let's just go down the list. What's the first thing you come to?
Large designs.
So what is a large design? It's a large design.
Right.
How big are they?
They are basically, so the first one is 28.35 inches long by 14.96 inches tall.
I'm just curious if can we make that?
That's as big.
It won't go any bigger.
It will not.
Smaller. You guys want them smaller? No, sorry. I thought I would give it a go.
But let's pull up a design here. So on the bottom, we get a bunch of different portions of a design.
Yep.
And so we've done a little bit about our hooping with like the edge to edge series of things on here. What happens is you get a complete version, which is the first file, and then you get multiple versions. So start with the complete version because it has this little icon down at the bottom, which you can't really see. It almost looks like a bobbin.
A bobbin or even a sideways ladder or film strips kind of appearance.
Yep. And what that is that is kind of the same icon that we see in our connecting feature in a different part of the design. But that one has all of the connecting parts essentially built into it.
Sure does.
What you would do is you would select that first icon and then we would hit the set button and then we would be able to embroider this whole design.
So what does that actually mean? That means it pops up the top one in each case. So one of 3 different pieces.
Right.
You stitch this piece, and when you're done, the machine automatically gives you the tools that you need to properly position your next hooping so that it matches up perfectly.
Yes. And so in this instance, the design would be going in this direction because that is where the connecting point was going to be. It's going to be like long. So you would want to make sure that you hoop your fabrics appropriately.
So this is like a small version. We wouldn't be able to stitch it on there, but I have a long piece of fabric and I have it started on the left.
Yep.
And then you would stitch number 1 and then rehoop and stitch number 2 and rehoop and stitch number 3. And you would end up with this panel of a beautiful, large design.
Let's grab, so I have my magnetic hoop here. Let's just put the hoop in and we'll advance to the end of the design. And we can, I'm making a giant mess over here.
It's been that kind of day.
So watch yourself because obviously we have this machine positioned super close to us. So we're going to kind of cheat just so that you can see some of the information that you actually get on the screen here. So we're going to pretend that we're embroidering this design. And I'm just going to go to the plus and minus button here. And there are a lot of things in here. So we can advance this way.
Like minus
or
whatever.
Right. I can just go to the end of the design and then go forward, right?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
I'm just kidding. It's fine. I mean, it was, but it's all good.
Just gonna get. I'm watching the stitch count up here.
Yep. Just a couple left.
Okay, we have like 2 stitches, so we're just gonna maybe thread the machine and make it think that we have some thread in here.
Even without thread, but maybe.
Maybe, right? It'll be the day that it won't, and we won't get the message we want.
Well, here, we'll do this. We'll just throw some fabric in there, and then it'll know it'll stitch it.
Okay.
All right, so there's 2 stitches left. It's going to finish those 2. And then you get this.
Right? So this is really important. What it says is the embroidery is finished. It's okay to connect the next pattern. And then it says, do not remove the material from the frame. If you wish to continue later, select and set the next section of the pattern. It can be resumed if the machine has read it. So what we're going to do is say okay.
Say okay. Don't hit cancel unless you say, oh, I don't like this. I'm not doing it
anymore. I'm not doing it, right?
I'm not finished. If you're going to go on, you absolutely want to set this up for the next set.
Yes. And so what you're going to get is this little picture down at the corner, which is like, that's what I was talking about, that bobbin or that ladder or whatever. Yep. So you've got that and it's blue, right? So your machine is red and you need to touch this little blue screen, which is different. We don't usually have this icon.
And notice that we have a different design here. This is design number 2 of the set of 3.
Exactly.
It automatically loads it. And now you go, yep, I'm going to connect it. So you hit that button and it pops up and it said, hey, where are you going to put it? So here's what we stitched first.
Yes.
And we can stitch it. You can move it anywhere you want. Now, why would you want to do that on here? You wouldn't, but sometimes you could.
Yes.
But in this case, we want it right on the line.
And usually the 2 dots match up pretty well. And
going back to 0. There we go.
There we go.
All right.
So what we have here is kind of 2 little dots that are matching, and we can kind of see that our design is flowing. That's really great. My Siri is trying to help again. So now it says select the position where the next pattern will be connected.
Right. So in this case, we have a series and they're all going to want to stitch right there. But maybe you're doing a long, narrow piece and you need to connect the next one over here because of the way that it's going to stitch out for your tablecloth or whatever, pillowcase, whatever it is that you're working on, and you need to connect it there. This is where you would move the design and say, this is where I want you to go.
Exactly.
That's all that it is.
So we're going to say, okay. And then the embroidery module is going to move. And then what you're going to get is, I'm going to go to this camera here. This camera here. And then what you're going to be able to see, and you can actually see it today, that's pretty good, is you're going to get these position marks. And then what you're going to do is, I think she stuck them to the table down there. What you're going to do, trying to be in two places at the same time. Yeah.
So this is a huge, if you have a dream or a destiny and you tried and you did this, you got a picture on your screen of where to put it and the camera would turn on and you're moving like this, trying to match up with what's on. This one literally shows you exactly where to put it. It's really cool. So you take and you line it up. And if you're not perfect, it's okay, because what's going to happen?
The machine is going to tell us.
It's going to scan and it's going to look at that. Yep. So once you've affixed it as close as you can, you know, again, don't stress over getting it exactly there. It doesn't super matter. You're going to hit the word scan on the screen, which is over.
Yeah, ours is going to be a little weird. Did it work? Yep, there we go.
All right. So why don't you change the camera so they can see that? Yep, that.
Oh.
So here it's finding it, it's checking it, and it's recognizing it. So it's putting it in the memory of, this is this point of the design.
Yep.
And this is the end of it, which is really cool. It's not finding it though.
No, it's because we're not actually hooped. It's getting there.
We should have done this hooped, but that's
yeah.
Okay. It's trying really hard.
I think it's getting there.
Yeah, it's just not finding it. It's okay. We're going to actually show you this maybe in a minute.
Yes.
And then actually in the hoop that I have here prepped.
Right.
But
the good news is if this happens, it just goes back to the same screen. You hit the OK button. Oh,
and it tries again.
And I hit it twice, and so now it's looking for it again.
Oh.
It's okay. Just let it do the whole thing, and so. Yeah, it didn't find it. So,
yep.
Okay.
Okay. So
Once
you have that, though, it'll ask you to do a second point.
Yes.
On the same axis. So at the end, you're basically going to go to the opposite side of the end stitch.
Yes.
And you'll place sticker number 2.
Sticker number 2. Yes.
All right. Once you've done that, then you rehoop, and it finds those points, and it automatically lines up embroidery design number 2.
Yes.
To those points that you just marked.
Exactly.
Which is really cool.
It is. It is very cool. So again, you can see that it's okay to mess it up, because until you get it right, it's just going to keep
asking you.
It is. It's just going to keep prompting you to put it in the right space. And so that is the wonderful, beautiful thing about this. But that is basically how these fancy ones work. Now, if you don't have a machine or you don't have the upgrade that gives you the long stitches, what we're going to do next is the older fashioned way. It's hard to say old fashioned, but it's the way that we had to do it before. So I'm going to hit the cancel button because, yes, I do really want to cancel this. And then I'm going to hit the return button, and I'm going to delete this. All right. And so what were we going to do?
We're just going to do letters.
Letters?
Connect some letters.
Okay.
So we actually get asked about this feature fairly often because it's something that people think super hard, and it's really not. Okay. Nope, we just need one. Can you go in the big letter so that they can, do you know what I mean? The 5-inch ones?
Sorry, I thought you wanted something that was going to stitch out quickly.
Yeah, I think there's like a, maybe not. We only have to stitch once, and then you guys will see. So let's do that. And then how do we tell it we want to connect after that?
I'm going to guess that it's this fancy button down here that we just saw.
Yep, so we're going to hit our little bobbin outline there. And it shows up down here. The key to this is you have to remember to hit it before
you start.
You start.
Yes.
Yep. So I'm just going to let, we're going to let it stitch, like I'm guessing it's going to do some underlay, and then we'll jump ahead to the end part. Maybe not. We definitely don't want 10 minutes of that.
No.
All right. So we're going to pretend that we're done stitching, and we're going to just jump to the next color. And it won't let me do that. Of course it won't.
Because there was only one color.
Because I didn't finish the stitch out. Stupid thing. I'm smarter than it is today.
Let's just let it stitch the last few stitches, and then there'll be a little something on the screen.
Something on the screen to follow. So this, we just jumped ahead to the end of this.
Yep.
So imagine that you're doing a tablecloth or a pillowcase or drapes or something like that, and you want to have the same design running all the way down the edge of whatever that is. So on your screen, it says, hey, the embroidery is done.
Finished.
Did you still want to connect? And you go, yes, please.
So again, we get that same message. Do not remove the material from the frame. Press OK to select the next pattern. All right, so now it's asking, what is the next pattern that you want to select?
Right.
So
this one came up with it automatically because it was already programmed that way.
Right.
When you're doing it freehand, if you will, you get to choose what you want next. Could be the same thing, or it could be something different.
Right.
So it doesn't really matter what we pick, but let's do that. All right. So.
And this is highlighted.
It is highlighted. So now you're like, okay, great. Yep, this is what I want to connect. So you tell it, yes, let's connect it. Are you kidding? So shrink it. It's just can't. Like, just go this way.
That's as narrow as I can get it.
Rotate it. It doesn't really matter. I mean, we're obviously not stitched out.
Right.
Okay, so now we're going to connect. This is definitely not looking like we planned on it looking. All right. So the thought here was we were going to stitch out S and L.
Right.
Because, why not? I want that N to be over there, even though it doesn't look like an N anymore. So how do I get it there?
Well, you've got some choices, right? We've got some arrows over here, and these are going to nudge it. So like from different corner pieces.
It's going to move it a lot bigger than moving with your arrows there.
We can also just move it with our fingers, which is probably the easier way to get us started. And then we want to line up our dots. So again, we're essentially manually doing all of the things that we were doing automatically before.
All right.
So
now we're here. We're good to go. We're going to hit OK. It's lined up where we want.
So the carriage is going to move. So watch out. And
so we're right back to let's place our stickers. So over here, you guys, I think can still see there. We're going to place that sticker in place.
And since we're actually hooped, this is going to work.
And I'm going to put it in there, and I'm going to let go. And then we're going to scan, and it's going to find the sticker and basically put it in the memory. So it's seeing it. That's what the red lines there mean. It sees it, and it's marking its position. And it'll say, great, yay, we succeeded.
The part we didn't get to last time.
Right, we didn't get there last time. So now we're back on the hoop, and we get a projected piece for sticker number 2. And I put that in position. And then I hit scan, and it finds that. So here's the cool part, right? All I need to do from here is rehoop it.
Yes.
And in this case, we're just going to slide
the
fabric over. If you have a magnetic hoop, you can see here, it wants you to look like this in the hoop.
Yes.
So if I actually had an S stitch there, it would be a lot easier to see that. But we're going to take that and just shift that over. And I move my entire piece down until it looks like it does on screen. So I need to be able to see those in my hoop, and hopefully it will still fit. All right, so we've got those on the left-hand side. That, depending upon where you're stitching next, could be, you know, your excess off the top. We just happen to be going to the right, so all of our excess is over towards the body of the machine. And then you scan again.
The worst thing that can happen is you haven't gone over enough.
Right, and it says you have to rehoop.
Yep, so it found the bottom.
And now it's looking for the second one. You can see the red line, so it's recognizing set number 2.
All right, and then it recognized the position, and so now it's giving me...
Remove the stickers. Yes. So unless you decide to make a design choice and you want to leave them there, you want to take them out so you don't stitch them into place.
Exactly. And you can use these
repeatedly.
Right, you can save them. Eventually, they will stop being sticky, but usually, I guess it depends on how fuzzy.
You can get quite a few uses out depending upon the fabric. If you're just using cotton like this, they last for a decent chunk of time. If you're putting like fleece and other stuff like that, then it'll definitely... Did you hit back?
I did not.
I'm not really sure what. Well, I already removed them. So what's going to happen now, once it recognizes them and it tells you to remove them, it's going to look for, yeah, I suppose it doesn't really matter. And like she said before, if you mess up, it'll just keep looking.
Right. We might have really confused it.
We probably have.
Yeah.
But what you're gonna do here is it's gonna find it, and it will take your design and rotate it or shift it right, left, and whatnot. It's not a fixed.
It doesn't like it.
It doesn't like where it's at.
Okay.
So let's just hit the house, and then you would hit go and stitch it out, and then you would connect again if you wanted to connect. Really?
It doesn't want to let me stop.
Now try. Oh, for Pete's sakes. Just turn it off. So,
when in doubt.
When in doubt. All right. So, hopefully that made sense. You're going to position, rehoop, and then it'll stitch in this field. And then you're going to repeat and continue on until you're done with your table runner or whatever it is that you are doing a border connect with. So that's how that works.
Don't take those stickers off until it actually gets to that first part.
It said remove. I just did what it said to do. I don't know what we hit, but it doesn't matter. So let's
definitely don't recall.
don't pull that bag up. All right. So we've talked about Border Connect, built-in large designs. This is really cool. It's not really a technique, but it is a built-in in these machines. And those are large stitch designs. So if you think of like our spirographs and things that we used to do with thread or yarn or something like that and run those around, this kind of like what this is, they're very long stitches. So it kind of breaks the rules of embroidery.
Yes.
Because of that, it doesn't let you resize.
No.
But there's some really cute things in here and definitely worth stitching out to give it a try and see what you think.
Yes.
So that is that. This is the one that is wicked awesome.
Yes.
And it uses the projector, which we haven't even really touched on a whole lot.
No.
Which the projection in this really gives you 100% accuracy to make sure that you never stitch where you don't want to stitch.
Exactly.
You can see exactly where something's going to stitch at, in what color it's going to stitch at on your fabric before you ever lay needle into that fabric.
Exactly.
Which is so cool.
Right.
But that's not what this will use the projector, but that's not how it's using it here. So
we have borders and we have edge to edge quilting. Would Mylar
that was not cool.
No.
We just had our power flash, so hopefully all is going to remain good here. Apologies if we go dark, that's why. All right. Would Mylar work? I mean, you could put it there, I think. The only thing you might have to actually cut to remove your excess, because I don't know how many needle punctures you're going to get around the rim to be able to just tear.
Exactly.
But yeah, you for sure could put something like that back there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
So borders, we have standard borders, we have rounded corner borders,
2-color borders,
and 2-quarter borders. And then we have what is this? Hexagon. 2, 4, 6-sided. So, and there are 5 of those. So, standard border, single color, and there are a couple of extra. I didn't show all of those. So there are actually 20 versions of these.
So does it just stitch that square?
Totally, that's all it does.
That's all it does.
Totally stitches that
really
square.
Cute squares, right?
So all of the projects in here work the same in this instance. You select the
design that you want.
You hit your set button, and then you're going to get some information. This is asking you about the type of split that you want to do. I always pick this one.
I always pick the one on the right, because that's always how I'm trying to apply this. But basically, let's picture that you've got either a small quilt, or it doesn't matter, it doesn't have to be small.
Right.
Or even a table runner or something, but something with a border around the outside edge.
And then the machine is going to ask you for measurements. The top measurement here is going to be the size of your top border. The measurement down here is going to be the size of
so the length and width of your
borders. Yep. And then you've got the size of the design. So it's very important to note that there are parameters in here. The smallest this can be is 4.72 inches, and the largest it can be is 118.11.
So wait, I can do this on a king size?
You can.
Whoa.
But only if it's under 118.
But yes, so very, very large pieces that you can do this with.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And then you can pick how big you want the design. This goes 1.18, so you could put it in like a sashing or a border piece up to just about
basically
4 inches. So once you have all of that information in, then you also have to pick the size hoop that you want. You do not have to pick the largest hoop. You can pick a variety of different hoops, and you can scroll through here.
So, maybe you have magnetic hoop that's an 8x12, and you want to use your magnetic because that's going to be easier. It's worth the hooping hassle to go with the smaller hoop size to get your magnetic. So maybe, you don't own your largest hoop size in a magnetic. You could go with a smaller one that's magnetic for you, for sure.
If you try to put a number in there, that's too big.
It just yells at you.
It does. So once you put your quilt measurements in, you're going to get something that looks like this. This is kind of like the map. And it's going to tell you sort of the direction that you're going to be working on in your quilt. And it's going to have like upper left-hand corner, and then we're working across, and then we're going down to your corners, and then you're going to go down. So this is sort of the map. And then down here,
it tells you, it does show you exactly where you're going to start and how you're going to work around it. It says how big that field is, and it tells you how many pieces. That doesn't necessarily mean hoopings,
right?
Depending upon your hoop size that you've selected, but how many pieces that it has done in there to get that. So basically, this does the quilt math.
Yes.
I don't like quilt math. I like math. I actually like math a lot, but I do not like quilt math.
And then you can select a color.
Why does that matter?
The only reason that is important is if you pick white, it's going to be really hard to see it on this screen.
It is, and it's also going to be hard to see on your fabrics because it's going to project.
Unless you have black fabric.
It is going to project in whatever color you've chosen.
Exactly. So you want to pay attention to that.
Yep. So if you do have black or really dark fabrics, don't pick black or a really dark thread color, because when it projects that image down, it'll be hard to see it.
Right. You also get to pick, oh, I'm so sorry, single or like triple stitch. So it kind of defaults to single, which I think it should. And then you're going to put it into memory. It's going to save it.
And then it brings up that memory.
Yep. And then just like everything before, you've got one that has all of the groupings, and then you've got all of the individual pieces. You want to start with this one, and we're going to hit the set button.
And this is the magic.
Yes.
This is the total magic. It tells you everything to do.
Yeah.
Not only do you get a picture, you get a written description. So however your brain works, they've got you covered. It says begin sewing in the upper right-hand corner. and attach the embroidery frame so that it looks like this. And you put your border in that corner. So you, just like if you were doing regular quilting, you want your backing and your batting to be larger than your top so that you have ability to stitch all the way into that corner.
Yes.
And it says, okay, you want it to look like this. And you're like, okay, I'm good. I got it. And then it says what you want to do next. And it says, okay, you're going to move the projected image until it sits in that corner. And this is what you want it to look like. And you're like, okay, that makes sense. I mean, that's pretty simple, right? It's going to literally show me a picture. I can follow a picture.
But there aren't any keys. There's no buttons yet.
Not yet.
No. This is just a tutorial.
So we told it an 8x12, and I actually have an 8x12.
Yep.
So you will get adjustment buttons so that if you didn't hoop perfectly or you didn't place it perfectly, it will give you that ability. And so over there, you get adjustments. And this is what's projected right onto your quilt.
Yep.
And your goal is to get that corner, which is what it showed you in the picture, in the corner of your first top right-hand corner.
Which should be the upper right-hand corner.
Upper right-hand corner is what you're looking for.
So you're probably going to need to move the design.
Yeah. So move your design.
Yep.
And or however you're moving it. Yep. So it is literally just shifting it to see where you want it to go. If it is a little bit, you know, oh man, that corner wasn't as square as I thought it was.
Right.
You do, what do you need?
Just plop your fabric underneath it. So, and then I'll change to the camera so they can see the projected. You cannot use other designs for borders. Not if you're using this technique. So here you can see.
Here's the red and the purple, and then the green crosshair. That is where I'm trying to get into my actual corner of the quilt. So if I have, you know, that's my corner point, and then my borders are out there, right? I want to get this positioned there. Now, why is this option? Why can I do that?
Because you're not hooped right now.
Because I'm not hooped right now. But what else could I do that with?
You could do that with your magnetic hoop.
I could do that with a magnetic hoop. So I could get my fabric as close as possible to where I need it to be and then slap on my magnets.
Yes. And that is exactly
that's how I do it.
We find that to be so much easier than trying to get the fabric straight-ish.
Right.
And then try to work it in from there. So and that's the way we do the quilting feature too.
Same
exactly
thing.
Like this.
Exactly like this. The only difference is it starts in the upper left corner instead of the upper right.
Exactly.
But your edge to edge gives you all of these connections and all of the pictures, everything that you need to do to make it fit into the measurements that you've given it.
Yeah. Isn't that fun?
It is so much fun. I think that the quilting aspects that are built into this machine are one of the things that absolutely blow me away.
Right.
And I've used all of them. I have done multiple borders. I have done the edge to edge. I've done all of those different steps. I haven't tried the long stitch. That's one, the large, not the large one, but the long stitches. I haven't tried stitching those out. It's just one of those. I want to.
Made it to the top of the list.
Haven't made it to the top of the list yet. That is the only thing that I haven't really explored a lot in here. So the built-in features that are in the machine, it's closed. It makes that really hard. So as long as we have, let's just, so they can see what the embroidery projector looks like. Where's the butterfly? Oh, let's do the dragony, whatever. That's great.
That's not gonna, we don't have a hoop that big.
Oh, no, we don't. But I can fix that. Okay, so hit embroider and hit the projector. So I just want you guys to see how cool that projector actually is. So here's my little drawn, you can see, other than that, we have a gray with a white polka dot. So not a whole lot going on the fabric. This is the design in the exact size with all of the colors.
Let's actually turn the light off because they'll be able to see that a little bit better on there.
You just change the background color, could you? Or do you mean the top light?
The top light.
Okay, right there. It should come back.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
There you
Look
go.
at that. Isn't that stunning? It is. So all we did was turn off the machine bed lights so that you guys could see that a little bit better. You certainly could do that on your own. My fabric is not hooped, which is why it moves. But if you need to move that for positioning, there's arrows on the screen. If you didn't hoop your fabric completely straight, there's rotating on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to see a different part of the design, you simply move the box
camera.
that's on the screen so that you can see a different spot and make sure that you're lined up on the left or lined up on the top. This projector is life-changing. I use it a lot. I don't know about you, but
yep,
it is absolutely awesome. And that it is true size and color is just phenomenal. So,
yep.
you know, if you had like a panel and you wanted to add a little butterfly somewhere, you could see exactly where it's going to go.
Mm-hmm.
You can resize it if it's not the size that you think is going to look like you want it to in that image, and boom, you know what it's going to look like before you've done anything.
Exactly.
It is just so cool.
Between the camera and the projector, I've completely become a lazy hooper.
Oh, no doubt.
I do not have to be precise anymore. It just has to be in the hoop.
Yeah, and so the other thing that I use a lot, and again, we are on the Luminar, Solar. That's where I was going. The Luminarsis.
The Luminarsis.
The Solaris or the Luminaire. There is, instead of just a drop laser dot of where your needle is going to be, I get a crosshair if I chose that. You can choose the dot if you like. I love this because I often will draw, here, let's do this. I will often draw a crosshair of some sort, and all I have to do is line that up and tape it in place or whatever it is that I'm doing, or simply move my design, if it is hooped, to my crosshair that's there and start stitching, and I'm good to go.
Yep.
It is so quick and easy to get everything right where you want it to be. There are so many tools to make that possible.
Yes.
You know, we didn't even talk about some of the sewing things because, of course, we're not in sewing month, but, you know, there's the add-on features that we have in here truly are absolutely amazing.
Exactly. We didn't even touch on the design center or the
design
IQ
center
designer
or the built-in quilting capabilities.
Features. Yeah. So there are just so many.
There really are. These are some of the big things. We wanted to try to get them in.
Yeah.
It's amazing how fast an hour goes by. So.
What screen is that crosshair on? So that is, it's this little button right here at the top corner. Where
it is your foot button. So it has W and there's a picture of your embroidery foot.
It's right underneath.
Just tap the W and it comes on, or tap it and it goes off.
Yep. So right underneath the little Wi-Fi thing there, that little guy right there.
I use that all the time. I mean, almost every time I stitch, I'm checking, am I where I want to be? Yep, good. Nope, I want to shift a little to the left. Perfect. Now let's go.
Yep.
You know, so if I don't need to do a large picture with the projector, I'm at least checking center and making sure I'm where I actually thought I wanted to be at.
Super beneficial to be able to do that.
So many wonderful things in here that, can you find the center elsewhere? Of course you can. But it's so much
we'll
easier
teach you how to do it.
And we will, absolutely. But if you have the information available to you and you have the sources at home available to have some of these things, you know, just because it's a huge machine doesn't mean it's not for just a hobby embroiderer. You should enjoy your hobby.
Yes.
It shouldn't be a stressful thing. It should be fun. And, you know, all of these things just make this so much easier and fun. More fun than it just opens a lot of doors.
I know, right?
For sure.
Someday we're going to be able to just sit in front of our machines and just push the buttons.
You know, the only thing that it doesn't have right now that I really wish that it did, because these are Wi-Fi, so they will actually go and get an update and bring it into the machine, right?
Right.
And then I can just hit the update and I'm good to go.
Exactly.
So if it can do that, why can't it send a pizza order or something to my favorite pizza website, so that it can feed my family while I'm stitching and I don't have to leave the sewing room?
Exactly.
It needs to have, it's like the easy button for dinner. It needs to have that. You should be able to program in a an
Fast
order in a website.
Right.
And then just hit that button and it sends the order.
Like DoorDash or
Absolutely. That's what I think it's missing. But a way for me to not have to leave my sewing room is all I need. So,
exactly.
because, you know, the long day with no food for me doesn't matter in the slightest. As long as everybody else is fed, I'm good. I got snacks in my sewing room. I don't know about the rest of you, but
you should.
You should if you don't. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that or got something from all of those different buttons and features that are there. That Border Connect is really a beautiful thing. It is on a lot of machines. They've just made it even easier on this one.
Yes.
The cameras that are out there, the projectors that are out there, those are the kinds of things that really make the dream work. It really is so fun and wonderful. So hopefully you enjoyed that. And
yep, and Alexa.
Add Alexa, absolutely. I think that's
don't
perfect.
add Siri. She or he is not very good.
or Google, whatever. I don't care. So hope you guys had that enjoyable time with us today.
Yes.
And this was informative and eye-opening.
Yep. And next month is Quilt Month. So we'll be talking about sewing, a lot of things in the sewing side. We'll be talking about different walking feet and free motion quilting, ruler work. So all of those kind of fun things we're going to be touching on.
Is ruler
next
work
month.
more than just buying the rulers and having the foot? Because I've mastered that.
You have mastered that?
Yeah. I totally mastered
I still think collecting and doing
actually stitching are
two completely different hobbies.
Yes,
so
yes, very true.
We encourage both.
We do. We absolutely do. But totally got a lot of rulers.
Yeah, you'll have to bring some of them in.
I play a little bit.
Yeah.
I haven't finished I have visions of a project of ruler work, and that's one more thing I've not gotten to yet.
Yeah.
But
so we're going to touch base on those, and we'll talk about the differences between like quilting on a machine, quilting in your embroidery versus quilting on like a long arm.
Because I'm sure
so many choices.
Maybe you know, maybe you don't. We do sell those here. Mid arms, long arms.
Yeah.
Or even a table to put on your regular bed machine that would turn it to make it more like that.
Yeah.
So there's lots and lots of things that are an option for sure. So that is what's coming up for you guys next month.
Yes.
Hope you enjoyed today. I'm Lisa.
And I'm Sarah. Oh, I have our names wrong.
I see. I just noticed. No wonder people always call us the other name.
Right.
Anyway, thanks for joining us. Don't forget to like and subscribe, share with a friend. And we enjoyed sharing with you. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye. Yeah.